Today's show is brought to you by PayPal. PayPal is offering listeners to this podcast the opportunity to jumpstart your business with PayPal Working Capital. There's no credit check required. You can pay one affordable fixed fee, and you can automatically repay with a percentage of your sales. Visit paypal.com/success to take advantage of this opportunity. Additional terms and conditions apply through the 550 promotion. Please visit paypal.com. Again, paypal.com/success for more information. Today's show is also brought to you by Organifi, the best tasting green blend on the market. They're cold processed, guys, to retain all of the nutrients. And if you're looking to fill all the nutritional gaps and buffer out that new stress that your body has to deal with on a daily basis, check out Organifi.com. That's ORGANIFI.com and use the promo code SUCCESS to save 20% on your order. And now to today's show.
I wake up every single day. I am who I say I am. And I get what I get because I live in beast mode. Stop being gazelles. You're not average. You're not even good. You were born to be great.
What's going on, world? Welcome to another edition of the Secret to Success podcast. I'm your host, CJ, joined as always by the Bayesian sensation, Mr. Karl Phillips.
What's happening, y'all? Let's get it.
And live from Clearwater, Florida, Dr. Douglas, the hip-hop preacher. What's going on?
Yeah, I think this is my second podcast where I'm looking at, not technically the ocean, but a big body of water.
Second this month. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Every time you do a podcast,
Right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
On vacation.
You've been on vacation more than you've been home, bro. So,
vacation.
you know, hey,
but not always on the balcony overlooking something. I could have. Chicago was a little pier. It was a little small, tiny water compared to Barbados and Clearwater.
I just want to know who's going to explain to Candace why I got to do the podcast after Trey wake up and start running loose through the house because the hip-hop preacher grabbed the wrong cord and we getting started late. I want to see who's going to explain that.
Well, I think it was easier to explain to Candace than to Karl. So at least I know, with Karl, I ain't got to worry about getting his audio out. I said, that's a great thing, Karl. Karl, I caught it. The old Karl would have called you like, hey, Karl. Hey, man.
Hey, check it out.
Hey, man,
you know that
Karl.
fire podcast we did? Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that was the old E would have done that right there. So I feel real good about myself right now that it took me an extra 10, 15 because I realized something was wrong before it was wrong.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that. Yeah, we appreciate that for sure.
100%, man. Hey, am I tripping or is there nothing worse than having a fly in your doggone kitchen or your house? Bruh, I spent, before I called y'all, at 4 o'clock this morning, I spent a good 15 having a mano-a-mano with a fly in the kitchen, I promise you. I still didn't get him. But listen, what is it about having a fly that turn you into like a serial killer? Like I'm stalking my man around. I'm like busting down dishes. I'm like about to tear up the whole kitchen trying to catch a fly.
You're not paying rent. You're violating your space.
Right. And it was hard because usually my go-to strategy during the daytime is cut all the lights off and then open the blinds.
Right.
And let me tell you something. We got them expensive blinds too. And I am willing to tear them suckers down to kill one fly. I close, like, if you fly in the blinds, that's when I turn like evil. Like, I'm like Dr. Evil. Like, you fly in the blinds, I'm like, yep, boom. I close the blinds on you, and then I'm smashing the blinds, like, about to break out the windows and the blinds for a fly. I'm like, whoa. I was like, yo, you might be doing a little too much for the fly. But, I missed them this morning, but I'm like, shoot. I'm back on it as soon as the podcast is over. But for real, it's nothing worse than having a fly. I just can't stand it, bro. Be flying all around your food.
The other challenge too is you bought this sweet alarm system. You know what I'm saying? You paid all this money for the sweet alarm system. And here's this one individual that's able to get past that whole. But did y'all hear the story real quick about the lady who got into a terrible car accident because she had a spider dangling from her car. Unbelievable. I don't know. I kind of thought about I don't have a phobia for flies or spiders or any insect for that matter. And I was kind of like feeling bad for her because I'm like, yo, one should outdo the other. Like you should know you're gonna kill yourself getting into a car accident. But I guess a phobia is a phobia, and it doesn't allow you.
Well, not even a phobia. I think for that it might just be like, in that moment of a little tarantula drop down from the ceiling. You like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Like even if you ain't got a phobia, that might throw you off a little bit.
Yeah, but
can
you just swipe left? You can't just swipe left.
You're reacting. Yeah, you're reacting. So you never know how that goes.
React versus respond. You got to respond in a situation like that. But no, that's scary, bro. I always thought about that. One time it was a bee in the car with me on the highway. I don't know how a bee got trapped in my car, but I remember being like, okay, focus. You take this bee sting and just eat it if you got to.
Yeah, go eat that. Eat it. Go on, what you do.
Do y'all have any phobias? Heights? Anything? Anybody got any phobias?
I can't call it a phobia. I'm not a fan of snakes. It ain't like a phobia because I've touched them before, that kind of stuff, but I'm just not a fan of them, for real, for real.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think my biggest phobia is not eating. You know what I'm saying? Like I fear, not having a meal. You know what I'm saying? Missing 3-4 meals.
I thought that's what he I waited to see until he finished to make sure that's what he said.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm right. I'm like, did he say not?
Yeah, that's my biggest phobia.
I think we all got a phobia of not eating.
Yeah, I got a mean one about missing a meal. You know what I'm saying?
That's like ready for with the homeless boy. I'm for sure.
Oh, for sure.
No questions asked. No questions asked. Yeah, I miss breakfast and I'm feeling like.
Oh yeah,
no bugs though. Man. No bugs though.
Y'all know I overcame a serious phobia.
Oh, so, definitely.
I had a huge. I don't know what it's called when you're scared of birds, but I'm sure there's a technical name for it. But if y'all remember what happened, and this is a verifiable story. If you ever get to talk to the great philosopher Karl Sr., you can ask him this story to verify. One morning I was downstairs, I was probably about 7 or 8. I was downstairs on the couch watching cartoons, chilling, minding my own business. Whole family was upstairs asleep. All of a sudden I started hearing like fluttering going on. I'm like, what? Like in the crib. All of a sudden a bird flies into the room I'm in. I'm like, yo. And he flies back out. So then I'm like, shoot, I put the covers over my head and then he flew back in. And he was like flying around me. So I was like, all right, I'm about to run upstairs and get my dad. So I run upstairs and start yelling for my dad. My dad, of course, you hear your child just, yelling, screaming, running up the stairs. My dad, boom, hops out the bed. My dad in his drawer still. And so I shoot into the guest room. The bird flies behind me. And my dad is now running behind me trying to swat the bird down. So the bird is like still behind me. So I run out of the guest room into the bathroom. The bird still following me. My dad still following the bird, trying to swipe it out the air, but he can't hit it. So this time I'm running towards my room and I run to my room and I'm talking about grab the door and slam the door behind me. I'm talking about like as hard as I can and like dive on the bed, right? I hear my dad say, oh, shoot, but he didn't say shoot. And I was like, I'm breathing hard, I'm looking. I turn around and look up. The bird's head got caught like at the top of the door. His head was on my side of the door and his body and tail and stuff was on my dad's side of the door. And the bird was just like, eyes was open, looking dead at me. My dad started like, whoa.
Yeah, that's not a phobia. That's real. Yeah, that's not a phobia.
And he opened the door and the bird dropped. I promise y'all. And Karl and them know I'm not playing. Like, yo, I had a bad phobia. Like, you go to the park and it's like pigeons just walking around your feet and stuff. Like, yo, I had a real bad phobia. And I don't really know. I prayed about it a couple of times. I think right around the time, because I still had it when I met y'all, right?
Oh, when we went to see the Statue of Liberty, I don't know if you remember, but you had told me about it, and I didn't think it was that deep. And we on the ferry going across to that joint, and C was, I'm talking about head between his knees, because like you said, the pigeons and stuff was running around, and I'm like, oh no, that's real. Like C was bugging.
Yeah, no, it was bad, bro. And I don't really know how. I just kind of manned up. Like I was just like, okay, it's getting ridiculous now one day. So I still don't don't get me wrong, I'm not about to have no pet bird or nothing, but you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, no, I'm straight walking down the street or whatever, and yeah, but nah, man, them phobias is real. So, anyway, let's do a MD health check on both of y'all because y'all, you had a little something going on the other day. Karl, you got the allergies back. You done came back to Michigan. It's 40 degrees. And your sinuses is beating you. Your throat was hurting. Are y'all all right? Let me check on my brothers before we get this podcast underway.
Yeah, I'm telling you something. Apparently, I'm allergic to Michigan. That's what I found out coming back from Barbados.
Literally no question. I could have told you that, bro. Yeah, you got a phobia in Michigan.
A phobia of Michigan. Getting off the plane. I promise. I'm talking about. I just felt that little tickle in the throat. My nose, man, I'm telling you, the last couple of days, I've been Benadryl, like living on Benadryl. I ain't the dude to take nothing, like for real. It ain't that deep to me. But this whole week, man, like I've been hitting Benadryl and just passing out. I'm talking my head hurting, the sniffles, the sneezing. I'm talking the sneezing that you might mess your back up, that kind of sneeze. Like, yeah, that joint. So like I almost want to like brace myself to sneeze against a wall or sit down or something, but as of this morning, like I'm a little better. I can still hear a little stuffiness, but it's not as, like my head ain't hurting all that no more. So it's on the upside now, man. But a couple of days was a little tricky. I ain't gonna lie.
Yep. And hip hop preacher,
I didn't want to talk about mine, but I guess, I'll tell the story. But it's like Karl said, I had a little tickling of the throat, and the tickle. Karl. I just decided I was going to, do the airborne. For those of you not familiar with that term, maybe it's emergency, whatever, vitamin C supplement you take. But, I did a couple of those. I usually don't do much at all. I've been in good health, just try to eat right and just try to stay active. And so I hit that. Tickle was there in Chicago. The tickle traveled with me to North Carolina. So I'm gonna be real, when I got to Florida, I was a little nervous. And so, Didi's a RN, so I told Didi what was going on. She told me, oh, you good. You're just tired. Your body needs some rest. You've been traveling quite a bit. You went from Barbados to Chicago, North Carolina, Tampa, Florida. She like, the humidity here is like unbelievable. And, it's the fourth quarter. You getting ready for the fourth quarter, baby, you good. So I ain't told nobody this. I hate that she asked me because I was just going to let it ride in the sunset. But I got up, my 3 o'clock morning boy, and instead of taking a walk and talk with the Lord, I went to the ER. And,
are you serious?
I went to the ER because I was like, this is crazy.
You told me this yesterday. You said you ain't tell nobody. You told me.
Okay.
Yeah, I ain't heard nothing about it. So
I didn't tell Karl.
He's honest on my end.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I didn't tell Karl. So, if I didn't tell you and Karl.
I was like, man, he already told me he went to the ER. What's he going to say this time? I'm like, what else did you do?
Yeah, I'm just saying, if I told you but I didn't tell Karl, I didn't tell nobody. Home? You know what I'm saying, Karl? Is that fair to say?
No
because
doubt.
I didn't tell both of y'all, I didn't tell nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. It was so dramatic. I was waiting on the punchline.
No. I'm just saying I didn't tell Karl, so I didn't tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling Karl, I'm telling the podcast before I got a chance to tell Karl. So right. I didn't tell nobody. So I go to the ER, and I'm pretty. The lady is asking me what's wrong, Karl. And I'm pretty much letting her know I got strep throat. Because my throat hurt. It's terrible. And so she asked me on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how you feeling? And I said 10,
which
most
is,
pain.
if I'm here, it's a 10, okay?
Yeah.
I ain't come in for about a 2.5. Yeah. Well, I go ER with the 2.5, boy.
Oh, I ain't gonna lie, I told it was a 3. You know what I'm saying? I told it was a 3. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to catch the strep throat before it got too bad, And so she tells me, we had good news for you. And I'm like, what's the good news? She's like, you don't have strep throat. So now I'm hurt, Karl, because I got to go back and tell Didi I don't got strep throat. But I'm still waiting, though. I don't got strep throat, but I got baby throat or something. I got baby throat. I got something. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not feeling 120. You know what I'm saying? Something's wrong here. And so she like, no, you good. Whatever you have, give it about 24 hours, and it'll go through your system. And so I get home, and of course, I tell Didi, you know, and she a registered nurse. So she like, why you just pay $100 to somebody
no
to tell you what I told you? You know, and I said, well, you know, you ain't look at my body, you ain't look at nothing. Like, you just told me I was good. She came up with another phrase, another term. To make you boy, feel low. She said, I told you 2 days ago because you didn't have a fever. Because I was like, Karl, how dare you tell me I'm good? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not in my body.
Right.
She like, you didn't have a fever. I could tell by your body language throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you were a little lethargic, but that's probably the humidity. That's probably all the traveling. You know, you still getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not giving your body a chance to really rest. What you have, my friend, is a man cold. And I was like, oh, I was hurt. I said, a what? And she said it like, I've had a baby. It was with that tone that I've experienced PMS.
No, that's me all day, bro.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's me all day.
And so, I was a little hurt by the way she said it, like Wonder Woman versus, you know, Superman kind of deal.
Clark Kent. Clark Kent.
Yeah, Clark Kent. A man cold. I said, I never heard of such a thing before. She was like, absolutely, that's what you have, a man cold. And so, I'm humiliated. Yeah, I'm humiliated.
Yeah, no. That is, because look, I think it's so, like, we so used to our bodies running at 120.
At 120,
like, 90 is like a death sentence. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
So it's like, for real, like I'm not gonna lie, bro. You let me get a cold, the whole house about to get it. I'm talking about I got a bad attitude. I'm talking about if one nostril is plugged up, I turn into a different person. I'm just like, this is terrible. Like what? And then it make you appreciate your full health. You like, man, I was just good 2 days ago. Why wasn't I enjoying it?
Bruh.
I should have went for a marathon run. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, what am I doing?
I fell asleep, bro, twice on her, and she was hurt. Like, you didn't fell asleep. We supposed to go out. You supposed to. And so she's like, you know, just get yourself some rest. And I was just hurt. Like, I gotta be sick. There's no reason for me. Sleeping's for suckers. Sleeping for suckers.
Oh, let me tell you something. If you fall asleep on the grown man gifts, get the obituary.
It's over.
Like, you're done. Pack it in.
Stick a fork in it.
Yeah, stick a fork in it.
So here I am on vacation, literally getting rest. That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
so
no,
that's
but
how I'm doing.
I love it though.
Thanks for asking.
You know what I told E though?
What?
I said God does that to E once a year anyway.
Oh, that's
like, it's
real.
always something different. Once a year, E just has to sit down for like 3-4 days at a time because you're just running too much. Cool. All right. Well, listen. Let's jump into.
I'm sorry. Before you get too serious, see, it's just I don't know. I should even say this or not, but I've been in Clearwater for 5 days, and I'm noticing people homeless on the beach, and I'm asking myself a question, and I'm being serious. I don't know if it's our culture, you know, I don't know if we get trapped, you know, it's kind of like when things get handed down to us, like, you know, like for real, I look at my situation with being a high school dropout, look at my father, et cetera. I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, why weren't you homeless in Clearwater? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yo, E, why'd you try to stick it out in Michigan? What were you thinking? Like, yo, bruh, I'm seeing homeless in Clearwater. They got beautiful skin. Their skin is gorgeous down here in Clearwater. Wow. You know what I'm saying? They getting up in the morning, they hitting the beach. You know, they right here getting in the water, shaking it off.
You probably didn't know though when you was homeless. You wasn't really aware of the fact that
you could just
I'm
jump
saying,
on a
why
Greyhound.
wasn't I trying to be aware? Like, I'm just being real. It's like when you born
triple
in a
darkness.
City, oh man, that's what I want to not talk about today, but one day at least. It's like, because you were born in the city, do you got to stay there even though things not working out for you? You can't find a gig. You know what I'm saying? You can't, like, I know people who are like, I can't get married, I can't find a man. Do you have to find a man in the city you were born and raised? Is there not a man in another city or state that you can move to? I'm just saying, like, is there, you know, this school wouldn't accept me? Why is your dream that school? Is there not another school with the same program? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just thinking about it when I was here. It's like, yo, how do we get trapped in these thinkings that are not productive for us, but we can't snap out of it? So forgive me, guys, but yeah, why wasn't I homeless right here in sunny Florida?
Yeah, no, next time. Yeah, next time you, if things go left and all of a sudden your throat blow out and you can't eat no more, we'll get you down to Florida.
I got you a Greyhound ticket on me. I got you.
For sure. Yeah, if the strep throat jump back on you, you can't speak no more. We'll make sure to put you on the bus to Clearwater.
The strappity strap.
What? Oh, by the way, so are you fully fine now? You feel good?
I'm gonna be real with y'all. After the man cold revelation, all my energy came back.
Oh yeah. You felt it. Yeah.
Just sucked it up.
Yeah. Personal pride, your ego, got you back straight. Okay, cool. Cause I think we in Detroit. Well, today, right? So when they hear this, we'll be in Detroit, doing our thing. So I'm gonna need you to be, ready for the hometown crowd. But no, so yesterday, and I guess for the last few weeks, we've been saying, we do kind of a, staff meeting or whatever. And so there's a few things that, I do want to address with you guys and kind of let, our listeners in on it, just because, they're a part of our journey. They've been a part of our family. Many of, you guys listening to this podcast have been, a part of this journey before we probably even had a staff meeting, and TGIMs and early stuff and all kind of stuff. But I want to kind of take it in a different direction. E, you called me yesterday and we were talking about kind of like small businesses or entrepreneurs and things of that nature. And what you were saying is, I guess, and I don't know, you can talk about it if something happened, but you were talking about how you're small time because you act small time. And because you perform small time, and that you needed a shift in your mentality if you were going to make it to the big leagues. And so you were, I guess, in reference to us and where we've been and kind of some of the moves we made, I guess you can kind of speak on that, why that was on you or why you were talking about that. I don't know if something happened.
No. Specifically what happened was, my wife ordered and for real, man, this is all love, and this is really just about growth. I wish we could protect the identity of every, experience we had, Karl, but, the reality is the reality. But I'll just say this, we were blessed. Yeah, right. We were my wife and I, we like to, my wife likes to be a blessing to individuals, man, and so we decided to buy, just say some paraphernalia from, a small company. And it was weird because when we bought the product, they take your money immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the one thing I like about just business in general. I don't care if it's Macy's, Nordstrom's, Louis, they take your money immediately, bruh. So the small business, big business, but I think what really determines what type of business it is what happens after they take your money, see? And so, after we paid for this product from a very small company, we received no emails. We did get a notification from our bank saying that the money had been withdrawn, but we didn't get any email.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, we didn't get
we're gonna make sure the check hit.
Yeah, so we didn't get any email, confirmation from the company. We didn't get, any phone calls, any notices, anything. And so after about a week and a half, Karl, it's like, now it's a waiting game. And I'm just gonna be real. 90% of the time when I buy a product, I buy it, and I could be wrong, you guys help me out, but I normally buy a product wanting to wear it somewhere. Like, I'm not really the dude that buys something in
just
spring.
To put it on the shelf.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, we're gonna shelf this out into the summer. Like, I'm not into that fall, waiting for winter. I'm not that, organized. So normally when I buy something, it's like, in my mind, I'm gonna purchase this, and then we're gonna be able to wear this in a few days. And so after about 2 weeks, I'm starting to wonder, like, yo, is it a scam? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this a scam? And by that time, when I go, is it a scam? I'm just gonna be real with you. By the second week, third day, I do get my product. But by this time, I already have somewhat of I got a negative, thought process going on about the company now. I'm not thinking favorably of the company. Like, oh yeah, every time I need this particular whatever, sweater or shirt, you know, I'm gonna go to this company. And so one of the things I want to say to those small companies or small companies, you know, is that what you have to understand, and help me out, guys, if I'm wrong, but just because you don't have a big staff or you don't have, you know, a big warehouse, or, you know what I'm saying, you don't have this big computer system, software, you know, design, program, whatever. Once you say you're selling shirts, you're in business with every company that's selling shirts at that point. Like, it's not like you in the, you know, developmental league and there's an NBA and then there's a France squad and there's an Australia squad. Like, unfortunately, when you start doing business, it's just one league. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, that's it. It's one league, you know? And so you have to be very cautious that, again, we're not saying you got to be a big business, because we weren't a big business. You don't have to be a big business to get in business. But if you're going to get in the waters with business, you got to swim. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be able to keep up, you know? And so I kind of wanted to talk today because, Karl, you and I had, you know, to ship books. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We had to sign books. We had to make sure that all the books, you know, because remember, there was some people saying some pages was missing. We had to do some things as a small business to compete with Barnes and Nobles and compete with Amazon. So, Karl, maybe you or C could talk. Let's just talk about a couple things we know that even when you small, you ain't got to act small. Some things you could do as a small business to put yourself in a position to compete with the big boys.
So I'll say the first thing for me, like he said, this has happened to us. So we're not coming, you know, knocking at nobody's door like y'all trifling. It's happened to us. It's a part of business and growth. But I'm telling you, the feeling, and you know it, the feeling that you get to your stomach, that I got to my stomach when I got to deal with a customer that said, look, I ordered this thing 4 weeks, 3 weeks ago, whatever, and I haven't gotten anything yet. But let me tell you, like, it's a sick feeling. Now, I could justify it all day long. Like he said, I could come up with, there's 4, 5, 20 great reasons. We shipping international, there's customs, you know, the product got held up, like all kinds of stuff could happen. But as a customer, and I just ordered the product and I expect it in 3 to 5 business days, there's no excuse. There's nothing you could tell me, like he just said, to just bring that taste back to my mouth. And I'm telling you, it's a sick feeling for me to be on the side where we didn't deliver how we were supposed to. So like he's saying, man, whatever you can do, first of all, communication is the big thing. I think if as simple as an email, and this is stuff that we learned in the process and are still learning, but as simple as an email, hey, the product has been sent. The product has been delayed. The product is here. The product is there. Just that could save you so much drama, because the biggest hurdle is not that the customer is irate just because they didn't get it. They didn't know what's going on. Like he said, the first thought that came to his mind was like, yo, is this a scam? Because there's so much of that stuff going on now that I think the biggest thing people want to know is like, yo, is this a scam or is it real? Like, if it's real, then I should be hearing something. It left here. Okay, we delayed it. That's cool. Just let me know. We didn't get it shipped out Tuesday. It'll be sent on Thursday. Oh, okay, cool. Now my expectations have to adjust. Not happy about it, but still, I'm aware I can make whatever necessary adjustments. But the key is you got to communicate. So if it's leaving Thursday, make sure there's some communication going out. If it's delayed, if it's stuck in customs, get them the tracking number, just something. And we're using these products as an example, but it's digital product, you know, whatever you have. I think the first line of defense is communication. Make sure your customer is aware of what's going on. Like, don't leave any room for guessing. And if you screw up, be quick to, well, here's a 20% coupon. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not just going to leave you hanging. Like, I want your support. Like, your customer has to feel like you value them. And that's the kind of stuff that you can still, like, I'm just saying, you're going to make mistakes when you start in a small business. You are going to, it's inevitable. But you want your customer to feel like, yo, they got my back. That's the key to it. So that communication, like I said, and being able to quickly just remedy whatever is going on. I think those are the two things that could, you know, get your customer like,
I love it, bro. Communication. I love it. Yeah, let me say that again. Communication. And see, I'm going to give you the floor, but what I want to say to you guys is this. The reason why I'm so feeling what Karl is saying, because that's free. That's free. That don't cost right there. That don't cost a lot of money. That is absolutely free. It does not cost you to communicate with people. And so that's one of the ways that you can you know, as a small company, catch up with the big companies, because no matter how big or small you are, communication doesn't necessarily, you know, require you to spend $50,000 to be able to communicate.
Right.
You can have you can have a website, or you can have an email. Doggone, let's just start there. An email. You don't even have to have nothing deep. An email, you know, or some small program that allows you to communicate back to people. I love it. See anything you can think of. Small things we can do.
I mean, just the fact that, you know, as we sitting here, you know, talking, man, like, we're not infallible. Like, shoot, Karl, we had an issue, just a few weeks ago. We had switched our entire, what was it, Karl? I don't even know. You know, I don't know.
So we moved from
moved
from Shopify. We were using Shopify, which is just a generic online shopping store, to a kind of a custom store that we've created now with another company. And we had some transition issues. Let's call it what it is. We had some transition issues. And let me say this, see, because just we're here. I'm apologizing to anybody that, you know, we're talking about the issue. Like C said, we not all the way there. We've made some mistakes in the process. This is a staff meeting. We made some mistakes, and I got a couple of people that like, yo, I didn't get my stuff. And our system in place was, we'll send you a coupon that make sure you get it. And we missed a couple of people in that process. Sick to the stomach, see? I'm getting messages from the website, sick to the stomach. The person, I had one, this one, E, and I'm just putting all our business out. It's a staff meeting. Like, this person was like, yo, I don't know if I'll do business with y'all again. Like, this is not what I expected from Eric Thomas and Associates. Sick to the stomach, see? I did every email possible, like everything I could do to make up. But I'm just saying, like, do you want to go there? Like, do you want to try to do that then? Sick to the stomach. I cut you off, see? My bad. Go for it.
No. I mean, it's real. Like, it happens. And I think, you know, you will get some people who are just like, yo, you know what I mean? I can't bounce back from that. But I think you have to own up to your mistakes, realize, you know, what you did wrong. I think we've corrected the error now, obviously. But there was you gotta think, man, and this is what's crazy, y'all, is like, yo, we thought we was ready. Like, everything was ready. We were told the systems were in place for the transition. Boom. We didn't rush it. We did everything, and there was still an issue. And so what are you going to do? Are you going to cower and run, or are you going to try to fix them? And so I think, you know, to the best of our abilities, we got every single person straight, whether that was extra gear, extra products, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the issue was, you know, we did our best to take care of it. But understand something, you know, growth, be careful how fast, you know, you say you want to grow and things of that nature, because I remember, Karl, there was a time when people used to have so much grace for us, right? Like, for real. When we first started selling books, I'm going to be real. I don't know what our system was. We were just like, all right, send them out. We had wrong addresses. We had all kinds of, we didn't know. And so we were trying to figure stuff out. And people would like email in so nice and be like, hey, I ordered Eric Thomas's book about 1.5 years ago. I still, don't rush. Don't worry about it. I'm okay. But, you know, if you guys get the chance, if you have an extra one lying around,
please,
right?
just
Because
send it.
people perceived us as the underdog, right? And so they rooted hard for us. Now we're not the underdog anymore. And that's one of the hardest things for those of you who want to just jump into my mind really quick, as, you know, we talk about this company and we move through, you know, our existence in this world. One of the hardest things for me as of late has been managing the brand from a different perspective. Like, I always managed the brand from like the underdog perspective. Like, we slept on that. People don't know who E is. We should be on this, you know, TV series. We should be on this album. We should be doing this. We should be doing that. And so the things that I put out, the spirit that I put out was always of that underdog flavor. I'm gonna just be real. We're not underdogs anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, so trying to embody that, you know, spirit of the underdog, because I always feel like we can keep that spirit of an underdog. But the truth of the matter is, we are not underdogs anymore. So even as I'm sitting here now working on a new album, I'm like, yo, it's not the same in terms of something to prove. Like, it's almost scary how well things have been going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was used to, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? We got to get the account back to, you know, whatever. So let me, you know, drop this project, or, you know, this is happening, that's happening. It's like a completely different space that I'm in. Like, yo, for real. He was just, I mean, some of y'all heard it. We opened up Meek Mill's album. It was the #1 album in the country. And he opened it up, and kids from all over the world went crazy. We're at the NBA transition camp, and the guys like, yo, I couldn't believe it when I turned on Meek Mill album, I heard you on there. A week later, you know, we close out Hard Knocks, which was, you know, the #1, you know, trending show in the world for like 2 days. And E does the last 2 minutes of Hard Knocks. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, E on first name basis with Warren and Dan. I'm like, yo, this is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different feeling. And so that's been, you know, one of the things I think that's been the hardest for me lately is just like, yo, okay, we got to find that chip. You know what I'm saying? We got to make sure we keep that chip because, you know, I'm not going to say it's on autopilot, but I do feel like even with some of our staff and stuff, like, I see people getting comfortable and I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you have to try to recreate that hunger. Like, for real, MJ has 6 chips. Like, y'all see the greats, they keep that chip. Like, MJ would just find stuff to be mad at. MJ, somebody might be like, yo, MJ had a great season and so did Karl Malone. And MJ in his head, he heard, they said Karl Malone just as good as I am. I can't believe they said that. And so they would manufacture a chip. And I'm to that point now where it's like, okay, now I got to start manufacturing beef. I got to start manufacturing like anger and intensity and all of those things. And I have to find a way to give that to the staff without going full gorilla because y'all know me. If I go there with them, you know, I could get maybe a little too rough and I feel myself getting a little irritated.
I wouldn't say too rough though, see. I wouldn't say that. I would just say, you know, unfortunately, when you're dealing with people, you're too rough for them, but not too rough for like what it takes. And I want to make a connection real quick because a lot of you who are listening to us, what I don't want you to do is just hear what we're saying. No, I literally want you to hear the spirit of what we're saying because this is important. You know, the guys was like, you know, teasing and whatever. See, he was just talking about me being on vacation. Guys, this is the point. Like, don't get it twisted. This is the point of making sure every book go out. Like, there's a point to it. You can get 90% of your books out. You could be on vacation when you want to be on vacation. Whatever the thing is that you're trying to execute, if you can execute on that level, I guarantee you whatever your dreams or goals are, you can make that happen. But you have to execute. So when we talk about getting a shirt out in 24 hours if possible, whatever UPS will do, FedEx will do, or whatever you got money for, you might just have money for, you know, like a flat rate at the United States Postal Service, like whatever you have money for. I'm telling you, when you execute, these are the things that happen in your life. So I don't have a problem with going off on me and pushing me because I know what that's going to mean for me financially. Like, I see the connection. I make the connection. My kids got to go to school. I make the connection of I still got to grind because if I want to live like this for 10 more years, here are the things that we have to do. But I want to share something with both of you that I know I didn't share this time, Karl, with either of you. This has never been shared with the world. You know what I'm saying?
In the history of the world.
Yeah, the history of the world.
This has never been heard.
Yeah, this has never been heard. So, and forgive me, see, I know most of the stuff you want to be able to keep in, confidentiality, and I try my hardest to. I don't do pictures and all that no more because this is the world.
Can you text me first before you say it to 100,000 people?
Let's just make sure it's okay.
But of course,
texting it and see if I can approve it real quick.
But of course, guys, this is where I throw my age weight around a little bit, y'all. So of course, like C said, I'm in Clearwater. So of course, Tampa. So if you make the connection, Hard Knocks. So I text, Winston and let him know I'll be here. So he hit me up and was like, yo, E, I'm off on Monday, so can you come up to the facility, on Monday? I'm like, yep, no problem, definitely. What I'm saying? So of course, Didi and myself, we go up, and while we're there, I'm not really paying attention, to be honest with you, to Didi, because I'm just kind of, floating around, and he wants to introduce me to a couple people, and I'm like, what up, meeting some folks. I specifically go, for real. I'm not up there like seeing facilities. Like for those of you who know us, we've been in the NFL for quite some time now, and we've been, not only in some of the better, NFL facilities. I'm not trying to be funny, but we've been to Oregon. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to be funny. You might think it's just a college, facility, but when you've been to Oregon, you've pretty much been to, you've been to every facility that you can go to. You know what I'm saying? If there's one you want to see, you see that one, and you seen whatever you're gonna see, because that pretty much is the mothership, of them all. Unless, of course, you do Alabama, University of Alabama, because they represent what would be that, old vanguard look. You know what I'm saying? So I went specifically though for prayer, and to, to really, my job is not really just motivation, but, to when I have that opportunity to really be able to cover these young men and help them in terms of their character development, And so when we left, what was hilarious was we were having worship, me and Didi that next morning, and Didi was just saying like, yo, isn't it ironic, that, I used to ask UNC, how long is this gonna last? How far do you think you guys can go? And she's like, yo, I'm not you. You know what I'm saying? She's like, I'm not a motivational speaker. I don't even know sports like that. You know what I'm saying? She's like, I don't know sports. She said, but I'm literally in places where people would dream of being. See, she's like, I got like full access, to games and to being like, not only on the field, but, in suites. And it started with Didi with Prince Fielder back in the day, and so, man, I'm just looking like, yo, see, this is why you got to get your book out. This is why when you say you're going to do a podcast, you got to do the podcast. And whatever you guys want. Like, I don't know what you want. I'm not suggesting that you need to go to games. You remember, see, when me, you, Karl, our wives, are at the Staples Center. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though I know, maybe your wives don't really get into basketball like that for them to be able to drive.
My wife get into courtside though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nothing to do with basketball. Courtside.
Right. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know, the conversation you had, with Tamisha afterwards, Karl, but it just means a lot when you execute on this level, and so that's why we're telling you, like, I just wanted to stop for a minute and just make sure you guys understand, that when you get your books off on time, when you do what you say you're going to do, when you get to a certain level, you go from being, a small company like we were in 2011 when the book came out. And it was Karl and I, who were signing, going through each book, make sure all the pages were there, make sure the pages weren't backwards because companies do mess up, making sure that the address were right.
Filling out all that in the international forms and all that. Every single form. Every single book T-shirt. Yeah, we had to fill out a form to go international. I'm talking about, it was a lot of them joints. Yep, that's real.
So I'm just saying to you guys, like, I just wanted to make the connection. We're gonna go back to just giving you a couple more, tips. But I want to make the connection that you might be thinking as a small company, it's just a book. No, what I want you to think about is it's your retirement, okay? It's your travel expense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's your car payment. It's your vacation money. It's your miscellaneous money. It's your kids' college tuition. And I think that's the difference sometimes when I'm in these meetings, these staff meetings. I think for some of us, we're seeing it like, this represents not only who we are individually, but this is our children's, trust fund, if you will, whatever you want to call it. And I think there's some people in the staff meeting who just like, oh, I gotta get this book off. You know what I'm saying? And I just think it makes a big difference how you come to doing your work, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, the approach is crazy, and I remember you told, me. One of the things that I always got to work on as it relates to leadership and things like that is y'all know I can get it. I wouldn't say a temper, but I can get hot. Well, I guess it's a temper, right? Let me just sugarcoat it.
I was trying to see where you was gonna go with that.
No, I can get hot quick.
Be rededicated.
Well, here's the thing.
Rebaptized.
I know what. So it's like when you were a kid, right? Like, I didn't understand like how hard my parents worked to provide that type of house for us or that type of life for us. And so I took it for granted. So I never understood why, you mad at me because I ain't take out the trash? Why is it that deep? And it's like, That's your contribution to this house. Like, you don't understand, and you look ungrateful, or you look, and I'm not, and like I said, I don't want to call anybody out, but it's like, yo, it's like, we built the mansion. I need you to keep your doggone room clean, and I shouldn't have to, you know what I'm saying, be on you about cleaning your own room. And not that anybody, and listen, our staff does a great job, and we've come a long way. But one thing he told me that really helped me, because I used to get so frustrated and I would go off, and he was like, yo, in a sense, I don't even think I had kids at the time, but in a sense, he was like, yo, why you acting like somebody should love Trey as much as you love him? Like, would you ask Trey Teacher? Now, Trey teachers care about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure they'll try to protect him from hurt, harm, or danger, but you're asking his teacher to love him as much as you love him. It's not possible, right? Like, this is our company. We built this from the ground. How in the world can you expect somebody to treat it with as much TLC as you do? And I think my expectations had to change a bit, because I was expecting someone who got hired on as a 9-to-5 employee to take care of the brand as much as I wanted to take care of the brand. And I never could understand that. But because I built it, it's like, I'm also not comfortable watching somebody take care of Trey, like, with my eyes, not in the same light that I'm taking care of him. So it still pisses me off, if that makes sense.
Hey, and what I'll add real quick, is, and of course, with our growth, and this is to all my small business owners, entrepreneurs, you've heard the saying, he always said that pressure busts pipes, but understand what I'm saying. The more pressure you put on so it's a balloon with a little hole in it, a tire, a little hole, the more pressure you put on it, the more it leaks. So as we're growing, guys, we're experiencing more and more and more and more pressure. So what's happening to the little mistakes that we did before, that was just a small little leak here that you could just kind of ignore it when, the balloon wasn't going to deflate off of that little leak. Now all of a sudden it's the same little hole, but it's air gushing out of that sucker because we got so many more people looking at us, so many more products being sold, so many more things happening. Now it becomes a major issue. So see, I want to go back to something that you said. I came back from Barbados pissed off. Let me just be blunt, pissed off. And I had no idea why. Like, I'm coming back to work, like, pissed off. Like, I just had this anger about
40-degree weather in Michigan. That's
that might have something to do with it. We getting fall in August. But no, I got back. Like, the thing you just said about Jordan, I was like, yo, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not Jordan. I'm not equating to Jordan. Jordan, don't get pissed off at me for saying that I'm pissed off like you were. But like, I came back because I realized what he was just saying. Like, yo, all of the gaps that we have is what's stopping us from going to the next level, from being able to stay on vacation even longer. It's little things. It's little things. So somebody asked, like, yo, how was the trip? I was like, it was terrible. Because I came back and I realized, like, yo, we still got to fix this. We still got this challenge. We still got this. And I came back with a fury because, like, yo, the faster we fix this, the more we can get done, the more people's lives we can touch, the better this thing could be for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. And I think you make a good point, because we always think, and I think that's the frustrating part, is because we have such a growth mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we trying to grow. But sometimes you do got to stop and plug the leaks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really do. It's like, making $1 and cutting $1 and spending is the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You're exactly where you were. And so, we could do all of this growing, but if the leaks continue to grow, then I think it's a problem. And I want you to talk about that. But first, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor today, man. And PayPal's been rocking with us for a few weeks. But PayPal now has a special $550K offer for our listeners, right? And PayPal understands that running a business is complex and time consuming, and sometimes it takes a lot of upfront capital, which is why PayPal Working Capital is offering the opportunity to give you a boost in your cash flow with a $5,000 business loan from PayPal Working Capital. For a limited time, accept $50,000 in payments with PayPal and get pre-selected for a $5,000 business loan with no credit check or personal guarantee required. All you have to do is follow these basic steps. Sign up for PayPal business account, start accepting payments within 60 days. Process at least $50,000 in payments and apply for PayPal Working Capital within 240 days. If approved, your funds will be deposited into your PayPal account automatically. For additional terms and conditions, please visit paypal.com/success for more information. So that's the website, paypal.com/success. And check out the 550 promotion. I wish we would have had the 550 promotion back when we was getting going, because that's what we needed for the books, was 5K.
I'm glad you didn't have it. I'm glad you didn't get your little bank loan. I'm glad you didn't get a little PayPal loan, because you might have got chill. And I'm being real. I really think that made us, dig deeper, into what we were capable of, not knowing we were capable of it. And I'm so grateful. And this is not against anybody who's received a loan or who've gotten help. But I think that one thing, has made us, like it made us understand what we were capable of, and from that point forward, we always knew that anything we need to be successful as a company, we're not against help, but we don't need to rely on anybody else. And if you looked at how we've set up shop, from the books we self-publish, nothing wrong with going with a major publisher. We're getting calls now, TGIM, we didn't go to another, executive producer or another group and say, hey, we got this idea, can you help us? We literally got the camera and from scratch. And so I do want to say to those small companies that are out there who feel like, they need to take advantage of this PayPal opportunity, by all means, go for it. But for those of you who feel that you need to go a different route, like, don't feel bad, don't feel bad. Like, give it a shot, go for it on your own. And if it works, it works. And if not, there are other opportunities for you. But I do want to say, man, I am super grateful that some of the opportunities that could have worked for us didn't work out for us, because it did make us, it made us grind in a way that
every experience makes you who you are. And I think it's easy to say that in hindsight, but I'm not, if we would have got a $10,000 loan, paid the loan, that would have been a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would have been able to have a different story. I think the point you're making is unique to your story. And I think that's what's, a blessing about, each person's journey is no journey is the same. No journey is identical. I think E makes a good point in that you don't have to have that to win. And I think a lot of times you think as a small business, you need that to win. Like, if I don't get this, then I can't be successful. Like, I'm gonna just be real with y'all. Like, and I tell y'all, man, it is a weird thing when you put things into motion and they happen. Yo, do y'all remember 2 years ago when I said I was gonna get us on Hard Knocks? Like, I said it was it 2 or 3 years ago, E?
Yeah, it was at least 2 or 3 years. Well, I remember the Miami Dolphins were on Hard Knock when you first started talking about it.
Right. So you talking about it might have been longer than that ago, where I was like, yo, we're gonna get on Hard Knocks, right? And it takes some time. And I thought we were gonna get on there that year, just to be honest. I was like looking for contacts at HBO, trying to do everything. And I think that the point I'm trying to make to you is just keep working, right? Because I actually actively tried to get us years ago on Hard Knocks. Like, I wanted to use E's voiceovers, for the training and for when they showed like weightlifting scenes and stuff like that. And I actually was like looking for, I sent emails like to random HBO execs, never heard anything back, just, going in. And then kept my head down, we kept our head down and kept working, and they called us, right? I'm in Miami. And they call, which shout out to I don't know if I mentioned it, but I was on the Quality Time, boy, and turned my phone off for some hours and then turned it back on. And they were like, yo, we need signed off now, tonight, please, for Hard Knocks. I was like, oh. I told my wife, I was like, okay, we might have got a little carried away with turning the phone off. I'll let you hold on to it, and you just tell me if something important come through. Right. I had my phone off on a Monday, and that was scary. I turned it on like 4 o'clock. I was like, okay, I almost had a heart attack. But that's neither here nor there. But you keep working. So I want to kind of give some information before we close this up, because I know there's those of you like, okay, y'all talking to us, but you're not telling us what to do. There's some things that you can do as an entrepreneur, a small business, etc., that you can take yourself to the next level. And guys, we're not there yet, but we're further than we were, obviously, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. when we got this thing rolling. And I think one of the things is understanding who your customer is. I don't think I talked about it on the podcast, which is weird of me to go through like a major experience that actually sticks and not talk about it on the podcast. But a few weeks ago when I was back home, this actually might have been a month ago now, I was back home in Lansing and I noticed they had a dinosaur exhibit. Did I tell y'all this already?
No,
They had a dinosaur exhibit at the Lansing Mall. Now, mind you, the Lansing Mall, let's say this, it was in the old Macy's, if that doesn't tell you anything, right? Macy's gone out of the mall. The Lansing Mall got about 5 stores left in it, right? So it tells you, like economically, maybe what's going on in the area, right? So they have this huge dinosaur exhibit. Now, it's pretty much the same one that we had down here in Atlanta. Now, y'all have heard me talk a million times. Trey is a paleontologist. I don't know how that happened, but he loves dinosaurs. So after church, it was quick. Like it was just like spur of the moment. I told Candace, I'm like, yo, let's stop by there and take, Trey. I mean, they got like big dinosaurs, like life-size looking things. You know what I'm saying? Like these things like, 10, 20 feet tall, long as all get out. So we get up to the counter. And now, mind you, this is in Lansing, and this is a big deal. This isn't like, some 5-foot dinosaurs they got just, set up around the thing. Like, it's in the entire old Macy's. I'm talking about huge dinosaurs, like moving, growling, the whole nine. Like, one of the coolest exhibits you'll ever see. I get up to the window, and the tickets are $35 for kids and $30 for adults. So I think for me, Candace, Izzy, and Trey, it came to like close to $100, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, whoa, like, okay, that's kind of high, right? So as I'm walking to the ticket booth, and I already knew it was high because of the one in Atlanta, but I just assumed, it's Lansing. I'm like, these things got to be about, $5, $10, right? So I get up to the counter and I see this lady, older lady, looked like a grandmother, and 2 younger kids walking away from the counter. And the little girl starts crying. So I go, like, me, I got my sensors up, like, oh, this looked like an opportunity to be a blessing. So I asked the person at the ticket counter, I said, why are they walking away? And he was like, the tickets were too high. I said, well, how much are the tickets? And he was like, they 35. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, oh. So I run back, you know what I mean? The little girl was crying, because you can see all the dinosaurs right there.
The
right?
gorilla
so
has a sensitive side.
Oh, for sure. Oh, when it comes to that, now you know I don't play.
I love it.
Yeah.
I just love it though. We went from the gorilla supervisor to off-duty flamingo. I love it.
Now I love the kids now. You know what I'm saying? Now it's grown folk who can catch the hands. You know what I'm saying? The kids. I love the babies. So I went and got them. And I said, ma'am, let me buy your tickets. And so she started crying. The little girl was crying, like, gave me a hug, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I got an opportunity to be a blessing. So I blessed them with the tickets, and we go in there. Okay, now, mind you, this was probably midday. It started at like 10 a.m., right? It might have been over at 5. What time we get out of church? 1 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? 1:30, something like that. So it should be prime.
Who was preaching?
If you were preaching, maybe 2:30.
You know what I'm saying? Who was preaching?
Yo, we get in there. Yo, it's like 8 people in there.
Wow.
Like literally. Like, I mean, it is empty in the whole joint. They got slides. They got, you could ride like these little baby dinosaurs. I'm talking about, it is cool as all get out in there, and nobody is in there. And I literally asked like 3 people, like, yo, is the manager here? Like, is the owner here? And I just gonna tell him, like, not because I couldn't afford it, but I'm sitting here saying, you got this cool thing in Lansing, which we don't have a lot of stuff come to Lansing.
Right.
You got this cool thing, and you've overpriced it so much that nobody can even come in here. Like, they were about to leave. I'm like, yo, this lady and her kids was about to leave. Like, you gotta know which market you're in. You have to know who your clientele is. So guess what? The exact same exhibit when we were in Atlanta, it was about 45 minutes to wait to get on one of them baby dinosaurs, right? Because Atlanta is a booming metropolitan area.
You can get back and forth on that
I'm just saying, Lansing is a blue-collar town. Like, you got to know your people. And I think most of us, we don't understand who our clientele is. We don't understand how much they make. We don't understand what their pain points are. We don't understand what they're looking for. And one of the things that we always did was we understood who we were and who we were serving. And so even in the way in which we try to price things, like you'll notice we do have, some more expensive, more exclusive things, right? Because that's just the nature of the business. But then we also have, a $49 package for you to get and breathe you. Why do we do that? Because we understand that we got some working class folks who rock with us, who want to be down with us, and we can't price our stuff like Tony Robbins and have a $10,000 ticket as the bare minimum entry into something, because that's not who our demographic is fully. Now, we have those individuals who rock with us, who, make a ton of money and like rocking with our brand, and that's cool. But we also have individuals who say, yo, I'm trying to get to that next level. So one, you have to understand who you're dealing with. Who is your consumer? What are they able to do? And what are you able to do for them? The second thing you have to do is you have to be able to fix a problem. And we talked about it a bunch of times. People come to ET not because he's the greatest speaker in the world, not because he motivates them. He fixes problems, right? Self-esteem, marriage issues, those are problems that he is actively fixing. And I think that's two of the main things that you can do right now. Also, find out what you can do above and beyond. Karl talked about it, but we actually had cards with E's signature on them and like a quote from E that we used to drop in every single package, right? So when you got your package, it wasn't a Nike shirt, but it had that extra touch, that personal touch from ET that maybe said when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe. It had E's monogram signature on it. You might have kept that and held on to it and put it on your refrigerator on a magnet or put it on your desk as a reminder. Like there's little things that you can do as a smaller company that you can beat the big dogs, right? We talked about it before. You can make decisions faster. If the market changes, you can make a change quicker than, a big conglomerate, right? Because they got to go to a board meeting. They got to go to staff meetings. They got to do, X, Y, and Z in order to make a decision where you and, three of y'all running a company, you could change, what does Josh always say? It's easier to turn around a canoe than it is the Titanic, right? And so you can make a decision faster. So find out what advantages you do have, right? What advantages do you have over the competition? There are things I tell people all the time. I tell Kendall and them, y'all should really be killing E. Why? Because E can't touch the people the same as he used to. Now, he still goes above and beyond and does a great job of it, but you can actually do one-on-ones with people. He can't do one-on-ones, not like that, right? Because why? He's got 1 million people across the world trying to have a one-on-one. I said, Kendall, Chris, you guys, you can still literally jump on the phone and walk through something with somebody for an hour. He doesn't have that kind of time anymore. And so find out what advantages you do have. Some of you are listening right now, you're speakers, you have an advantage over Eric Thomas. There are some advantages that you have. You can go into the local school, twice a week, on Monday and Friday, and give them a sweet message. Like there are things that you have. And I think if you look at what you have and as opposed to what you don't have, the big working capital, all the money, all of those things, you don't need them. You need to find out what your advantages are and exploit them. So I just want, y'all can drop in whatever y'all had to, go in on that. But I wanted to make sure we didn't just talk about, the problem, but we also gave some solutions.
So I'll add one quick one. See, timing. I'll give this as an example. We launched Breathe University January of 2013. Why January? Well, January is the new year. Like that's the time that everybody's looking to do new things. You know what I'm saying? So there's a rule I was reading online yesterday. Y'all getting some of the Detroit content. But I was reading this thing and it talked about the convertible rule. It said never try to sell a convertible when it's snowing. Like it don't even make sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the last thing you want to think about. You're not going to sell sweaters when it's going into summer. So just timing, like just common sense. Think about what time of year, your products are best served. What time of year are people looking for soup? What time of year are people looking for these things? And use that to your advantage. Like the odds will do a lot of the selling for you if you can actually just time it right. So that's just another practical thing you could do in addition to the stuff C said. But yeah, just think about that timing.
Yeah, and I just want to say, see, too, that pine tree, I would ask that, as much as possible, you guys would have that pine tree, perspective, especially, you're in the Midwest. When the winter comes, most of our trees die, but there are a few that stick around, and they have the ability to weather the storm. And I just want you to know that most of you will be successful if you could just weather the storm. And be consistent. That's the biggest challenge that I have. Most people start, and they never finish what they start. And we are where we are today, I don't think because we're necessarily the best at what we do, but we have stayed consistent. And there are some things that happen to you in the second year that don't happen in the first. And there are some benefits you get when you've been in business for 10 years versus those who've only been in business for 3 years. And there are some things that, like I've been married 27 years today, 27 years today. Listen to me. And you know, you have to be careful because when you say things, you know, people take them the wrong way. So let me preference it this way so you can get you can get the point I'm trying to make. That my wife has been phenomenal in a lot of areas, in the areas that, you know, she needed to be to help me to go from being homeless, you know, in a high school dropout to where I am today. Somebody asked me a question, how has your wife helped you, you know, to develop as a man? And I said, listen to me, you gotta understand, I started dating Didi when I was 16. Like, Didi has been in the trenches with me, developing my manhood. So there was never a point on my own where I was like, man, and I hooked up with her. You know, I was 16 years old when I met her. So she has committed herself since she was 15 years old to assisting me in the process of me becoming a man. So we've done it together. You know, I've not been without her since I was 16 years old. But after 27 years, this is the first time that Didi ever, I'm not gonna say, I was gonna say wash my clothes, but not wash my clothes, but actually pack my gear for the last 3 trips. That's never happened before. It's not even something I was looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not, you know, that's just not my wife's thing. You know what I'm saying? So I realized though, after 27 years, there was something that I did in terms of just being consistent and knowing her and saying, okay, I got to do this and I got to make this change and I got to make this adjustment, to the point where she felt like, you know what, and I don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying? We didn't necessarily talk about it, but she told me, she was like, oh yeah, I packed all your stuff. What you looking for? I was like, I'm looking for she's like, oh, don't worry about it, I put that in your suitcase. I was looking for something else. She's like, oh, don't worry about it, I put that. I was like, okay, did you pack my clothes? She's like, oh yeah, I packed your clothes for the next 3 weeks. And I just was like, wow, that's different. And so there's some things that some of you are going to want. You're not going to get in the first year of business. You're not going to get people to trust you in the first 2 years. It's just not going to happen. There's some things that will happen in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So I just want to encourage you guys, just stay consistent, you know, and stay with it. And just you getting up and doing it every Monday or doing it every Tuesday or doing it every quarter or doing it every Christmas, whatever it is, there's some things that are going to happen to you and for your company and for your staff and for your family with you saying, because you don't understand what I'm saying right now, but you are going to get sick. Podcast still got to go on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm being real. People will get sick in your family and you still got to go to class. You know, you still got to deliver that book. You still got to mail that, whatever. Like, there's some crazy stuff that's going to happen in your life. And if you could be that tree, that tree that says, yep, it's winter, but we're going to stick through this, then I guarantee you, man, it's just some things that's going to happen to you just by osmosis. I know I always say stuff doesn't happen by osmosis, but there are some things that just happen because you stood the test of time.
And you learn so much, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Karl, like, think about how much you've learned, you know, just about in the last year.
Man,
you know what I mean? Like, and we keep learning, we keep growing, we keep getting better. So, endurance is, that's the name of the game. Sometimes you just got to outlast. And so if you want more endurance, you need to check out Organifi. All right? Organifi been killing the game lately.
I love it.
He impressing me every week. With
float on the track like a Segway.
Yeah, that way. Me every week.
Hey, that way. This segment is brought to you by Organifi. Man, so look, here's the deal. You guys already know health is of huge importance to all of us, right? We are on the grind. E is an Instagram vegan, right? and you don't know what Instagram vegan is. It's where you eat chicken in your regular life, but on the gram you post vegan pictures, all right? And we've learned firsthand just how valuable health is. And that's why, man, we rock with Organifi green juice, an organic superfood green juice powder. You just add water to it and you got your greens anywhere, anytime. When you invest in your health, you gain more time and energy and focus throughout your day. The best thing about Organifi green juice is that it actually tastes good. For our listeners, we have a special deal so you can try it yourself. Use the code SUCCESS. That's code SUCCESS at www.organifi.com to receive 20% off your order. Again, that's Organifi.com, and Organifi is spelled ORGANIFI. Use the code SUCCESS to receive 20% off. And I still been killing the game with my Organifi. I'm not just an Organifi Instagrammer. I'm actually drinking it in my real life. You know I gotta mess with E.
I'm just saying this. No. I don't have no problems with you messing with me, but you know how people are on Instagram. So I just want to let y'all know he playing. I'm not. Yeah, for real. No. It don't have nothing to do with me. But as I'm listening to C, I'm like, yeah, there's somebody out there.
I'll meet you at Five Guys in Detroit tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just say that.
Hey, there's some people out there that's really like, they look up to C and they don't know when he playing and when he not playing. But I promise y'all, and this is not that I have anything against chicken. I don't have nothing against
Oh, man, stop being defensive.
Beef. Yeah, I have nothing against any of that, y'all. I told y'all why I'm doing this in the first place, but I just want to encourage somebody. Somebody just was like, I'm through, ET a fake. You gotta know when
Listen,
C's serious.
and if you can't do it, just do it for the gram.
Do it for the song.
If you can't actually do it, the best thing, if you're not gonna do it, the second best thing is to make people think you do it. Okay? Right. So post it on the gram. Just go run by a vegan restaurant and snap a pic with you standing in front of it. Right. And you too can be an Instagram vegan. All right, and then meet me at Popeyes an hour later, and we can eat for real.
But you see Didi in there though, don't be shocked if you see Didi in there. You won't see me in there, but if you see my girl in there, call me.
Hey, don't let it. Oh, my fault. Go finish up.
No, I was just gonna say, shout out to Organifi, man. I got people hitting me up saying they tried it and that they're rocking with it heavy. They got the pouches, that you dump right in your water, man, and keep on rocking. Like Candace see me, yesterday, and she was like, "Yo, you serious about this thing?" And I'm like, "Yo, I do feel better. I do feel more clarity. I feel alkaline, whatever that means. I feel good."
That's right. I know that's right.
Yeah, no, and E, I apologize for teasing you about your vegan. You look great.
No, I could care less. I do not use the word.
You sound a little hurt.
No. I do not
clear the record.
Do not use the word vegan. Like, don't use that word for them vegan people out there. Do not use that word. I will say this though. I am ready to start talking. It's been over 30 days. So you know me, I don't like to talk about stuff.
30 days for what?
It's been over 30 days that I have been, on this vegan diet. And so, I'm ready to talk about it in terms of people's health, but for real, I'm definitely not, for those of you who are looking like the next 10 years, like all I'm trying to do is get my wife's health back 100%. I'm not into, I promise you I'm not
hedging your bets. Just say you a vegan, dog.
I'm not a vegan, bro.
I'm gonna keep calling you an Instagram vegan.
Yeah, no, I'm not into that, but I am saying to those of you who are listening, that I don't want y'all to get caught up on C, but I do want to talk about it because this is the first time for Didi and I that we were in a city that didn't really have, a vegan restaurant. We went to one spot, Karl, and I'm just gonna say it was like a church potluck. It was like a church potluck, and not necessarily one of the, the throwdown, showdown ones. Yeah. And so I want to start talking.
I've been to a church potluck 5.
You've been to ours. You've been to one of ours, but I do want to start talking about health just a little bit more, guys, and not just on the vegan tip, but just because for the last 30 days or more. And what I want to talk about, guys, is not necessarily just diet. We got to really start helping people, because if you remember Sean's podcast, there was one specific one that I listened to with a young lady who was a doctor who had MS, and she had it for, and I'm not saying Didi don't have it for real, but she got it for real, blind, lost her sight for a while, bound to a wheelchair, of course couldn't, she couldn't work, But what I do want to talk about, because somebody hit me the other day about Didi and like, yo, she on that vegan thing, I see her health. I'm like, bruh, Didi ain't been on it, 30 days. That her health had nothing to do with the diet. She just started doing that. You're not about to get no results in 30 days. So there's, according to the podcast I listen to with Sean, I want to talk about it because there are fanatics. And that's why I keep saying, like, yo, don't put me on that vegan thing, because what a lot of y'all do, y'all doing the diet, but you're not doing, there's 7 other things that you need to be focused on. And you get fanatical and want to focus on not eating meat, but then you got your girl in a real stressful situation. Like, a part of what Didi is going through is also vitamin D. She in Barbados looking at the ocean. She in Florida looking at the ocean. Like, Didi ain't got no job. She ain't stressed out. So that's why I was like, yo, I'm not trying to be funny. I ain't running from vegan. But some of y'all fanatics, y'all on just one aspect of it, and it's environmental, it's mental, it's the people that you run with. Like, there are a lot of different aspects to getting your health together than just, you not eating meat, you know what I'm saying? Or you not eating, whatever it is you're doing. And so one of the things I want to do, I'm not trying to take hostage of the podcast, but at some point, even if it's next year, the first quarter of next year, I do really want to start talking about the idea of health and not just diet, because that's one aspect. And am I saying it's not important? All of them are important. I don't think any one of them, I don't think you could be in a terrible relationship. What's up, lady?
Stress worse than smoking.
No, yeah. I believe it is. You know what I'm saying? I believe it is. And so I want to talk about that, because I get tired of vegans, posting me, what's that or what's this? And I'm like, yo, you in a terrible relationship. You're in the midst of the divorce. Like, that's stressing you out.
Well, to their credit, if you're gonna be in the midst of a terrible divorce, at least you can eat right. You know what I'm saying? You hate to be in the midst of a terrible divorce and be eating fried chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. I would suggest
don't equal a positive.
I would suggest that you eat chicken and try to get your relationships together. I'm just gonna be real. And so we'll talk about that later. And I also want to, and again, you set the time, but I think there are a lot of fanatics in just the whole going into the gym and just working out, they're just working out, bruh. You know what I'm saying? And not necessarily, doing some other things that they could be doing for their health, because you look good on the outside, but we don't know what's going, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I said, like, yo, I'm not scared to claim nothing.
No,
but I just get tired of these fanatics, bruh. They just, they sweet in one area and that's it. Yeah. And it's like, you can't do that. You gotta be balanced, bruh.
Yeah, no, and man, we we trying to lead by example, and I'm teasing E. Wait till y'all see E in Detroit.
Oh no, he ain't teasing
DC.
Me. He being real. It's a lot of y'all out there on this fanatic tip, and we got to make sure that your relationships are strong. You're doing what you got to do. I'm upset with some of you. Some of you don't have degrees that you could have had by now if you would have started 5 years ago, or you could have had a certification. Had you started 8 years ago, but you were afraid. And we don't talk about fear and confidence, and we don't talk about, it's just a lot of stuff people don't talk about, because it's so much easier to just, like C say, post stuff on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much easier.
No, so much easier.
You know what I'm saying?
So much easier.
We're going to talk about
it, me an Instagram just so I can start posting. At the gym, 4:45 on the auto post. You know what I'm saying?
No question.
I want it on an auto post.
I was gonna say, E, I mean, definitely shout out. You glossed over it, but shout out to the triple double lifestyle. You're talking about 27 years. Let's not walk over that. 27 years.
I'm so look.
Yeah, let's not walk past that. Like,
and let's be real. The diet is the last one, and the diet is that one that was forced on me. So that's why I'm saying I'm just want to be cautious, because I've been going to vegan restaurants, and what y'all don't know, when you start going to these vegan restaurants, bro, it's a culture. It's a certain type of people that's in that joint. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about it later, but there's some stuff that I'm noticing when I go to the vegan boy. Like, oh, okay, I see what some of y'all on too. Yep, I see it. I see what y'all on, and y'all trying to hide behind, you know what I'm saying, squash. You know what I'm saying? And while I feel you on we shouldn't, do certain things, there's some stuff y'all hiding behind this diet. And for some of y'all, is some other stuff y'all don't want to deal with. And I just want to deal with all of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be the person, like you said, triple double, Karl. So diet was the last thing for me, and diet has also been the what do you call it? It was one of those things where it's like, yo, Didi, it's a must. So I'm not gonna act like I was just reading something one day and was like, oh, I need to do better in my health. No, it's some stuff that happened, but I do want to talk about that next year. See, I want to go more toward health, if you don't mind, and I mean mental, emotional, physical, financial. We're gonna talk about health, y'all. We're not gonna be a fanatic and just talk about one aspect of it.
Yes, sir. Man, shout out to everybody who, we got a ton of responses back from the MJ hookup. Most people yelling at me, most people yelling at us like, yo, Tasha said, CJ, are you serious? The way you make me feel didn't even make the MJ list. Greg in Chicago said, how y'all gonna forget about Smooth Criminal?
I think we almost
Wayne in Miami said same thing. The way you make me feel. Somebody said, yo, y'all ain't got beat it in the conversation. I'm done listening to this podcast.
Oh no, I said beat it. Remember, I said beat it. No, we covered that one.
Okay,
I said beat it. Yeah.
Make them re-listen there. They being sensitive. They being sensitive. It didn't make the top 3.
Somebody said, yo, Dirty Diana is the best song MJ ever made. Y'all tripping. So appreciate the feedback for that. Let's take a question because we running up against it now because
I'm talking about running up
he forgot his cord. So real quick, let's see. Maybe we can sneak in 2.
And I never looked at the batteries, guys. So please.
Oh yeah, please. Okay,
I ain't got nothing but faith. I ain't got nothing but faith, Karl.
I'll take
walk
it.
by faith and not by battery
I'll
size.
take it with the file. Send your faith and the file my way as soon as this is done.
Oh, Shayna in Maryland said, hey guys, what are your thoughts on marrying on
I think we got about another 10 minutes, Amanda.
Ooh.
I think we got about another 10 minutes.
I'm going to let the 27-year veteran go for that one.
Okay, so ask me that again.
Diddy definitely married on potential.
Right.
Hey, see, ask me that again. I'm going to tell you how I'm feeling. Yeah, nah. You 19 years old. I think that's all it is, see? You 19 years old.
So you say it's okay to marry. I'm going to say this. Don't marry on potential. Marry somebody you think you could be married to the rest of your life right now. You know what I mean? Because just in case they don't turn into what you know what I'm saying? The beautiful
I'm just saying,
you still good.
And I do say that, see, as a parent, you know what I'm saying? I'm being real. As a parent, as a pastor, I'm saying all of what you're saying. I would be, bruh, it would be evil for me to say anything else. But on love, and this is dangerous because it's on the podcast and people are listening, but I'm just being real, man. When I think about just from my experience, if I would have done, if it would have been calculated, I wouldn't have married Didi. Didi wouldn't have married me. You know what I'm saying? Here we are 27 years later, and she was just telling Jameis, like, yo, she was just saying, like when we were doing testimonies, that was the thing she said to him, like, like, yo, you got, like, she's like, I've been married 27 years. This is the best decision that I ever made in my life. But I mean, if we would have calculated, did all of that. So love is one of them spooky things, y'all. Like, you can't, I just don't know if you could, and you do got to be careful. You don't want young people, or you don't want people, period, getting married and not under the right circumstances. But love is, it's just not, I don't know, Karl, you went to school for, sciences. I just don't see how you could put love into science and measure it.
No, not at all. Hey, but love is real tricky to identify too. You want to make sure that y'all got some core values in place.
Absolutely.
Love is real tricky
I'm on
to
all
identify.
Of that. I'm on all of that, but every time I say it, I'm looking at my experience like, are you an Instagram, Instagram lover, counselor? Because you got none of the stuff you said you did. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I know my situation is not common.
You're an outlier.
Yeah. There it is. See, I'm an outlier, so don't listen to nothing I have to say about love.
Please.
I love it.
Let's see. Jaleesa said the Powerball's at $700 million. What would you do if you won the Powerball? Start with E. $700 million, E. And don't say feed the homeless. Like
I pay my tithes first. That's right. After that, I'm definitely putting.
What's that? 70 million in ties. That'd be nice for APOC.
Yep. And then I'm straight up, man. Right off the cuff. The Bill Gates started his scholarship. I'm starting a scholarship in the name of ETA, and that's the first thing I'm doing with it, bruh. First thing I'm doing with it, putting kids through school.
Okay, so can you give us something fun? Like, what was the first pleasure thing you would buy or do or what?
Can I be honest? Like, how do you say this without saying this? But I'm at a place in my life where if there's something that I want, you know what I'm saying, I can have it, and I don't, other than a private jet probably, and I don't have a desire for a private jet.
Ding, 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 ding. No, that I do.
No,
Lord have mercy. I have a strong desire.
She has a praise God.
I'm talking about a strong desire for a private jet.
Yes,
and that would be my first purchase before ties. No, I'm just kidding. Tie first, but then I'm going straight and copping me a jet. Let me tell you something. Traveling with these babies, these kids, going to that airport, going through TSA. They randomly took off my pre-check stuff last time, my whole last trip. We had like 4 flights in a row. I don't know. They just decided we're gonna make you go through the regular hookup. I took off my TSA pre-check. Boy, I was in that airport with the kiddos. I'm like, nope, I need a private jet. So first thing that I would purchase, pleasure-wise, you know what I'm saying, for myself, definitely would be the private jet. Lord have mercy. You imagine, and there's a clear port, I know, because unfortunately, one of my friends takes one all the time. I got to drop them off every time. A little tear falls down my eye when I drop them off. It's just pure jealousy and hate. But there's a clear port.
Should we put this on a prayer list, Karl, before we
5 minutes.
Should we just pray about a jet?
The clear port is 5 minutes from my house.
Wow.
5 minutes. And you literally drive right to the airplane, park your car, and run straight up the steps. Bruh, I'm getting me, if I hit this Powerball. Matter of fact, hurry up and finish this podcast. Let me go buy me a ticket. I looked up the odds just for those of you out there. I was like, yo, what are the odds that you could actually win the Powerball? And it turns out, I think I have it right here. The odds are 1 in roughly 292 million. So you have a 1 in 2, almost 300 million shot at winning. But if you don't play, guess what your odds are? You know what I'm saying? So I'm about to go get me a ticket right now. I don't get 10. I'm like, people who do that, I'm like, if I'm a hit, I'm hitting off 1 for sure. So I think it's $1. I'm like, wow, the lottery is crazy. I see, man, there's so many people. Every time I go to the gas station or something, there is like 50 people playing the lottery. I'm like, wow, people still play the lottery. But 700 million, I think that might be worth, you know what I'm saying, just to purchase, just to see if the Holy Ghost ready to bless me with that private jet. So, Karl, what would you buy?
So because you already got the private jet and Eagle had me working in all his charities, those two were covered, I'm buying a private island. I'm just going for an island. I can get there and just spend, me and my family could enjoy.
You might be able to get Barbados for 700.
I'm talking about, I'm trying to get a whole island. What you say, E?
I said it makes sense. You're from an island. It makes sense.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, I'm trying to get a private island. Now that I'm exposed and know that exists, I'm trying to get a private island so that when I do vacation, I can do that 120. I'm talking about no Wi-Fi on that island. All I need is to borrow CJ keys to the jet, fly over there, and we just chill for however long and come back and work in East Charities.
Hey, I'm mad. Karl think we gotta hit the Powerball to get a private island, and Tony got one, and I don't think he hit the Powerball. So, you know what I'm saying? We got to get our faith up, Karl.
Yes, sir.
Send us some of that faith you got on that battery for the private island and the private jet. And maybe we won't have to play the Powerball. So, with that being said, any announcements? Shout out to our Breathe You fam. Listen, man, breatheuniversity.com. Come join us, man. You trying to get your health right. You trying to get your marriage right. You trying to get your body right. The whole 9. Like, yo, come join us at breatheuniversity.com. We're doing some amazing things. Now is a great time to come join us, man. People are going to the next level. We got authors. We got speakers. We got business men and women, entrepreneurs. Crazy stuff going on in BU right now. It's a family atmosphere. E is leading the charge with the vegan health boy, keeping everybody accountable. I think everybody's doing a health challenge with MBU now, and it is the best time to be a part of Breathe University, man, and just hold yourself accountable, man. A lot of you got good intentions, you got all those things, but sometimes, man, if you don't have anybody to hold you accountable, it's easy to sneak that cookie. It's easy to sneak that meal that you're not supposed to be eating. But when you got partners who checking in on you, you know, family, you know, you see other people posting, man, it's just, it's that much easier for you to stay on track, man. So join a community of like-minded people who, you know, about going to that next level in every area of their life at breatheuniversity.com. E, hit us with a nugget of the day so I can go get Trey ready for school and we can get up out of here.
All right, so here you go. Stay positive, guys. And I mean this with all my heart. Stay positive, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. All right, and let me tell you something. It would be so easy, or it is easy, you know, to stay positive and to have that energy at 120 and that vibe going when you and wifey on the same page, or you and your kids on the same page, or everything at the job is going well, or you feeling 120%. Guys, it would be easy to do it then. Like, I think everybody probably does it, right? But for real, what I want to challenge you with today is when you feeling icky, when your relationship is feeling terrible, right? When things just aren't clicking, right? When let's just be real, you having probably the worst season of your life, when the bank account is low, no gas in the tank, everything you said you were going to do, you got none of that stuff accomplished. Listen to me very closely. I need you to still stay positive. And I need you to know that this too shall pass, right? And that your day is coming. But it is not going to come if you live in that negativity. So it's your boy E.T. say, stay positive. Come on, stay positive, even when it feels like everything around you is falling apart.
Hey, appreciate that nugget of the day. Y'all go to iTunes, leave us that review. Shout out to everybody we'll see in Detroit today. And much love, y'all. We'll see you next week.
I want you to focus on here right now. Don't you worry about when you get home. You concentrate on this opportunity. You don't worry about tomorrow. You concentrate on this opportunity